Good evening, everybody. It's wonderful. We have 30 participants on this town hall, which is wonderful. I welcome you directly from the global news headquarters of the Imperial Court of New York. I am your political correspondent, Bon Bon LaRue. This is a wonderful opportunity for all of our membership, as you have asked, to ask questions of both Empress Coco Lachine and Emperor Fantasia. And this is what you should expect of tonight. Each candidate will be given 1 to 2 minutes for opening remarks before they begin answering questions from the membership. Members will please submit their questions to the moderator through the Zoom chat feature. That would be at the bottom of your screen. The question will then be read exactly as it was asked. There will be no editing of questions. Please respect the integrity of this process. Do not post shady or inappropriate questions. They will not be read. Don't embarrass yourself. I am going to read them, so they won't be read. After each member has had the opportunity to ask a question, time permitting, we will go back to that same member for additional questions, but we want to make sure that every member has the opportunity to ask at least one question, and that that question gets a full answer, which every member deserves. And with that, we are ready to begin our town hall. Veronica, do you have...
Just one thing I'd like to remind everyone that this is being recorded and that it will be available, the recording will be available on our YouTube channel. It may not be immediately this evening because I'll have to get it from Bon Bon and then transfer it and get it up to the YouTube channel, but it will be available tomorrow for everyone to, at least by tomorrow, for everyone to look at.
And Pepper, did you have a question? I'm sorry, I thought you had your hand up. Okay, with that, we are ready to proceed. Going in, I suppose, alphabetical order, because I haven't heard differently. Coco, if you would like to make an opening statement.
Okay, before I start, I just want to let you know that I spoke to Emperor Graham and Maddie. They're on the road tonight, so they're unable to join us. But so for those of you that do not know, tomorrow's Empress Maddie's birthday. So I would like all of us, if we can flood her Facebook page with happy birthday, you are loved. Just wanted to let you know that they are not able to join us. Also tonight, I wasn't sure what I'm gonna wear, so I went to my closet and I wanted to show you this shirt because I would suggest that probably none of you have seen this before.
Wow.
This was the cover of HX magazine. It was still in black and white 27 years ago. All right.
Wow.
Anyway, that's why I'm wearing this. Good evening, everyone. I'm so happy that you're able to join us today. I wanted to share with you today. I posted a very long letter on our Facebook membership page and also to most of the members. I just ran out of time. I tried to personalize everything. What my letter primarily talk about is, because I have been president for the last 2 years, I wanted to run on my records and on my performance, because rather than say I wanted to do this, the question would have been, why didn't you do it? So what I wanted to do was talk about my record and my performance. The last 2 years were offered different challenges. You know, the first year was trying to deal with a hotel and having a shortfall. And this is where the skills came in, because we would have been in the hole for at least $9,000 with a hotel. And my persistence with a hotel to try to negotiate, you know, I went to them and said, can I get 9,000 in gift certificate? They said, no. Can I put it on credit and I'll do another event in a few months? No. That's when I just said, can we do brunch here? And by doing that, instead of losing $9,000, we took the money from the brunch that would have gone to Lips and use it here. So in essence, we save a lot of money. And then the second year had to do with moving to a smaller venue. We did my due diligence and went to over 20 venues, and some of the board members shared that with us. And just going to a smaller venue would have saved us money. And then before we know it, COVID-19 hit us, and so we had to keep readjusting. So it has been a learning experience this second year, especially since we have been kept at home, in trying to continue to do what we do in just a different form. So that was mostly in my letter. Hopefully you're able to take a look at it. And I know it's long, but hopefully I was able to share with you some of my experience and my thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you, Coco. Mark, your opening statement, please.
I'm sorry?
Your opening statement, please.
Oh.
If you would like.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining our very first town hall meeting. And hopefully after this exciting new way of communicating, you will see that I am qualified to lead our wonderful organization into the new norm. As you all know, you received all my emails. And that's it. Let's get the party started.
And here we go. Hold on, everybody, because the train is leaving the station. Our first question is for Mark. Mark, you said in a Facebook post yesterday that, quote, we need to expand our outreach program, end quote. As it happens, I agree with this statement. I'm just wondering if this was simply an observation, or do you have a plan in place to achieve this? If so, please share your plan to grow the programs.
Well, the Hearts and Voices and the potluck dinners have been a huge success with our organization. I'd like to expand further as going out to hospitals to tell story times to the children. I want to reach out to the senior citizen centers, see if we can entertain them. And so to expand our horizon instead of just staying within our own community and expand into other communities besides our own.
Okay. Is there any other questions that anyone has for? Great. Our next question, both candidates. We'll address it first to Coco, then to Mark. Both candidates, same question. How do you plan to handle membership meetings moving forward since we have no end date for COVID closures and/or an opportunity for live meetings? First to Coco.
Yeah, that presents a problem for us because there is no one solution to this question. We have to be able to use multiple channels in order to reach our members. That's why a few months ago, when we were on lockdown, I suggested to our monarchs to start a Zoom social. That was a gauge for us to see how many people are interested and would participate, but on part of that, we continue to do email and Facebook posting. We'll certainly try to explore any other way, but what's important to remember is that not everybody is into one thing. We've had many Zoom meetings and we average somewhere around 25 people. It's always the same people, and it's all including the officers. So I think the target is try to reach out again to see who has problems logging in and try to inspire more interest in it. But keeping in mind that, just because they don't join our meeting, it's not because we didn't try. Some people just, have things that they need to work on, their lives, their personal lives. Some people, still work 8-hour day. And today I was speaking to someone and a member, and he said, I am on Zoom every day. I am so not into Zoom when I go home. So we just need to respect different perspective that way and try both virtual and the old-fashioned way of reaching out either by email and posting on social media. So that may not sound like a new way, but it's certainly new to us in the last many months.
Thank you very much, Coco. And Mark, the same question. I'll reread it if you'd like.
Well, unfortunately, mostly what Coco was saying is correct. We're in a new norm. It's very, very hard to meet people in person. And till then, we'll have to go virtual until we get instructions from our government that we can open. But in the meantime, I was out looking for places where we could hold meetings in an outdoor venue in Manhattan on rooftops. And unfortunately, there are some that can accommodate us, but they want like $700 an hour, and it's a minimum of 4 hours, which we can't afford as an organization. So until we get the okay from our government, we still have to do everything virtually, unfortunately.
Glenn, if I can just add to what Mark said, because you also have to consider that people's comfort level, you know, some of us feel comfortable going out, maybe having a drink at Stonewall. Other people are not. So, you know, it's a matter of understanding that not everyone is able to do that, you know.
Thank you, Coco and Mark. Our next question is again for both candidates. How do you plan to lead the court into the future in the midst of this pandemic? Obviously, that's a related question. Coco?
You know, that is a question that probably does not have a real answer, because we really don't know what the future is. And when we talk about the future, what are we talking about? Are we talking about 3 months from now during the holidays, or are we talking 6 months? We really don't know what is going to happen. But the point is, at some point, all this will end. And at some point, the bars and the clubs will open again. And I think our membership would probably enjoy being able to get together again. So, you know, we always just have to keep those perspectives in mind. However, moving forward, having known what I learned in the last 2 years, I really think that the Night of 1,000 Gowns, as we know it today, is probably not going to be the same moving forward. It just isn't. You know, it's harder and harder to find sponsors that would help us, because there's a limited pool of money and they have to spread it around. And after COVID, there is not going to be that much money around. Also, the hotels charge so much money, just like the AV. We may not be able to sell our tickets at the price that we used to sell. So we need to strategize a different way. A few months ago, I had talked about this back in June at a Zoom meeting, and told everyone that was there that I was forming a ball task force. And we had about 8 members, and we had our first meeting about a month ago. And that was just a think tank to just talk about, okay, what if this happens, what our options are. So that was about a month ago, and there were some good suggestions. So my plan is, after all of this, we'll set up this type of a meeting and invite and share with them, share with the members that are interested what some of the topics that we talk about, so that, you know, let's spread it around. Someone else might have an idea. Stacy might have an idea of a location that we can go to that doesn't require paying $30,000 for AV. And so we had some ideas in mind already. So moving forward in terms of the Night of 1,000 Gowns, like I said, there's a task force that got started. We will expand it to just get ideas, but we cannot wait too long either. We got to be able to have some kind of concrete idea that we can plan on at least 3 months before our usual time to do the ball. So, you know, so that we can prepare for whatever it's going to be like. But I really don't think the type of ball we used to have will be the type of ball that we will have in the future, at least until we get back on our feet again.
And Mark, same question?
Yes, Coco's 100% right. We really cannot move forward with Night of 1,000 Gowns at this time, but we can plan now for the future of how we want the Night of 1,000 Gowns. Coco did do a task force for Night of 1,000 Gowns, which I'm one of the members, and the 7 others. And so far, I went to 6 hotels to see our venue if we can afford it. And so far, only 2 right now are able to afford, but they're not in New York. They happen to be in Queens. So like Coco says, we can't afford Night of 1,000 Gowns in Manhattan anymore. It's just not feasible. at all. Corporate sponsorship's hard to get. And who knows, after this is all out, how expensive things are going to be raised so they could make back the money that they lost for all these years that they've been out. That's going to be our other issue. That's what, when I went to go see one hotel, he says, these are the prices I have now, if you can guarantee it. I told him I can't. He says, well, once you know, I don't know if I could secure these prices because the COVID might be over, and then we have to adjust our prices accordingly. But going forward, we have to plan everything ahead now, so when it's time to, we can, boom, we're ready to go and move straight forward to our new Night of 1,000 Gowns.
If I can add something to what Mark said, this year, before we decided on the Hilton, we actually looked at pricing at the Marriott in Brooklyn and also the Hyatt in Jersey City. So it's not like that we didn't look outside. What we found out was that the dinner price is very relative because the Marriott was giving us a good price. It was a matter of difference of maybe $5 here or $10. It does add up, but our numbers are not as big. What has always bugged us down is the audiovisual cost. Marriott was charging us, the last year we were there, $32,000. When we decided on the Hilton, it dropped down to about 17. Can we afford 17? That depends what our numbers will be, because the last time at the Hilton, we were ending up closer to 300, if I'm not mistaken, Michael, closer to 300. Can 300 tickets support a $17,000 AV? You know, so those are things that we always have to look at in terms of budgeting. It's not just, okay, we cut costs, but the revenue side is just as important.
Thank you very much, Coco. Another question for both candidates. This time we'll start with Mark. Mark, given the vast knowledge and experiences in the membership, what is your plan to engage and involve the membership to build a future together for the ICNY?
Well, the first thing we have to start off with opening up all our wounds and exposing them and trying to work it out amongst the membership where we could become one again. As you all know, we're a very diverse organization, but yet there's a lot of animosity in our organization right now. Why? I don't know, but we have to find out why. Until then, we really can't move forward with all this animosity. And I mean, there is a lot. A lot of people are very disappointed in each other and not happy with each other. And as you can see, people are not happy. They just come and they, but with opening up our true selves and being honest with each other, we can move forward as an organization. But it's up to all of us to work together, regardless if we don't like the person or not. We all have to respect each other regardless of how we feel. That's it.
Coco, same question.
Yeah, I agree with Mark. There is, you know, there is a little tension with some members, but the part that I may not totally agree with Mark is that I don't think it's widespread. I think it's a small group of people. And, you know, it is what it is. Sometimes, as with any organization, there are cliques. There are people who are more friendly with each other. I just hope that sometimes, you know, the respect is important. That you know, social media is good for communicating, but sometimes when you're behind a keyboard, it's just, you know, you say things that you shouldn't. But I want to address the other part, the question that you had, Glenn, about reaching out to members. The first thing I probably will do, which, you know, I probably should have done because I thought I knew, but the first thing I would do is ask Mark and or Veronica to send me a copy of every member's forms, because we don't see them. And the information that are provided the members on our membership form are valuable. We ask them questions. What are your interests? What are your skills? And sometimes we are not, you know, we don't get to see those. For example, there's many things that we don't know about each other. Let's take Revi. Until very recently, a few months ago, I did not know Revi is a construction manager in a major hotel. You know, we know Revi as a photographer, or even Dolores. You know, she's new, but you know, if we didn't ask or through her posting, I would not have guessed that she was a ballet teacher and things like that. Or that Jeffrey Blanchfield works at Nike and has a whole big territory. So that's probably something I would do first. I had also made a suggestion to Mark a few months ago of a program that we can do, because when I was finding out these things, I wanted to share that with other people. So I asked Mark, and he did approach a few people, including Dolores, who had responded to this, to find out who they are, what they do, what their interests are. And we were going to feature several members each month on the website, you know, because, you know, I've known Warren for a long time, but I didn't know that he has been with IBM for over 20 years. That's a long time. So certain things that we didn't know, I was hoping that we can feature members. Unfortunately, this didn't really take off too long, but if I become president and Mark is still the vice president, he will be the vice president, I'm going to pursue this some more and work closely with Mark to make sure that this is something that could happen. And of course, the other thing would be, especially if we don't get to meet each other in person, with the help of Veronica, we could probably send out a survey. Since now most of our members are familiar with how SurveyMonkey works, we may send out a survey, because there might be someone with some ideas for online program that we didn't think of before, or some other way of raising money that we didn't think of before. So a survey might be good at this time, especially if we're not really meeting each other. So those are some of the things that I would probably work on in terms of internal outreach to our members. Oh, and another thing, you know, our members at large have very limited specific function on the board. So my idea would be to ask our new members at large, and I think all 5 of them are here tonight, so this might be something new if I get to be president again. I would like you all, will divvy up the membership list among the board of directors and ask you to reach out to our members more on a personal basis, because sometimes we send out email. It's very impersonal. We post something on Facebook. It's very impersonal. So if Jeffrey, you know, would reach out to Stephen Castillo and talk to him, and you know, get some feedback once in a while. You know, doesn't have to be every day, but having our board members reach out to specific groups on a more personal basis, and maybe we can understand and provide more service to our members that way. Sorry, I tend to talk a lot. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Coco and Mark.
Can I just touch 1 second on that?
Yes, of course.
Yes?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we used to have our new membership meetings, and that's how we would find out what our new members are all about. But unfortunately, with the new COVID, we couldn't do it. And I just started taking over this September. And eventually we wait till at least we get 6 or 7 new members before we have a membership meeting, a new one. And I guess now with the new way, we'll have to have another Zoom meeting, just a new membership meeting with Coco and the rest of the gang.
Yeah, I attended one of those with Mark. This was a members orientation meeting to brief members on what the court is about. But that only solves one part of the problem, or briefing members on the court system and who we are. We still need to introduce these new members to our membership, because when we meet at our in-person meeting, we don't really get to know each other well. And when we go to our in-person bar at the club, at industry, you know, we're having fun, we're tipping people, we're watching the show. The time is so limited to get to know each other, but certainly, Mark, you know, if we revive that, that would be really great.
Okay, moving on. For our next question, for the person who asked it, I'm going to split this question in 2, and I'll ask it in 2 parts because we are not attributing any questions to people. This question is for Coco. As president, do you monitor what goes out as a representation of the ICNY? If so, why did a video go out for the Black Lives Matter situation with a suspended member who offered racist comments and a member of color in whiteface dressed as Michael Jackson? This was a bad look for the ICNY and never should have been put in the internet representing us as an organization.
Okay, well, that topic actually came up in front of the board, you know, and I don't know if the persons involved are with us tonight. I can only see one screen, and I don't want to really talk about people who are not here. I'll just give you a gist of what happened. The person who was suspended at that time, you know, had approached us, and I brought it to the board, and the board, by majority, has said that, you know, yes, we could let that person participate because, you know, we're not big brothers. Hopefully by the suspension, the person is able to realize what mistake they have made, and we should allow people to sort of redeem themselves. I also went to the person's website and look at their post. And I checked the posts for the past 2 months prior to that, and the posts were very positive towards Black Lives Matter. So that is that one. The other one I had a real problem with. And I reached out to the person and I said, this troubles me personally. And I offered different suggestions. I offered to extend the deadline. Would you please try to redo it? I offered, if you want to us not to include it, we will do that. You know, I offered different suggestions. The feedback I got was that I really hate to hear this. Can I just make sure that this stays confidential? Because we need to protect people's feelings here also, okay? And I don't want to disparage anyone. We all know who we're talking about. Billy Little felt that if I did not let him express himself the way he feels, that I would be discriminating against him as a person of color. You know, if I were to censor who he is. And that troubles me. You know, certainly I don't want to censor people. He said that this is my experience. Michael Jackson is part of my life and all those. And I don't want to go into the details of too much of our discussion. That's basically what it came back. It fell on me to make a final decision. And the final decision is that I would like to respect how he feels as well as a member. And certainly we got a few bad feedback. That certainly wasn't the intention. The intention was to make a simple statement with just 3 words: Black Lives Matter. We were not gonna go into a large argument on conversation whether all lives matter or not, or do you agree with the looting and the violence. All we wanted to do was make a statement, make it simple. Unfortunately, you know, it has repercussions. You know, we did not put it up too long. After a few days of doing what we needed to do, we took it down, and lesson learned.
Thank you, Coco. The second part of that question comes from a different member. During the last vote, 4 people abstained from voting. This time you are eliminating that. So members have to vote?
I don't think we eliminated that.
Veronica, can you clarify that?
No, we have not eliminated. On the ballot, you can vote for Coco, you can vote for Mark, you can vote for neither, and you always have the chance to abstain. Nothing has been eliminated. The ballots are all the same each time.
Thank you very much. The next question is for both candidates. Mark, we'll start with you. There seems to be a lot of infighting among the membership. How will each presidential candidate try to reduce the arguments and bring the court back together as a unified, well-oiled fundraising machine again? Mark?
Well, like I said before, we all have to be open and honest with each other and discuss our issues and problems, why we are like this. We all hear rumors, and rumors are the worst things that this organization could ever have. And we have a lot of rumors. He says, they said, blah, blah, blah. And as the board always said, if they don't name the names, it doesn't happen, it doesn't exist. But what I like to do is really have an open and honest membership meeting, or maybe a virtual one, but just to see why they could, if they could work out their issues that they have, because by them not getting along, it's an effect. It goes all the way to every other member. This one says this one says this one doesn't like this one. A lot of people don't like me. A lot of people don't like Coco. But be honest. Tell me why you don't appreciate me. Why didn't you vote for me? Why did you say none of us are qualified to be president of this organization? There's a lot of animosity. Coco said it's small, but I have a bigger vision of it because I see it more. And the only way to really, really, really communicate is we have to meet in person. You can't do something like this online. It has to actually be human to human, seeing each other and expressing how we feel about each other and how we, as an organization, could correct these errors and move along and become a successful organization. Once again, become that crown, the jewel in that crown. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mark. Coco, same question, please.
Yeah, and again, you know, I will differ with Mark, you know, that I think it's still a small group compared to how many members we are. But, you know, it's irrelevant whether it's 2 or 10. There certainly is that. Here's the thing, you know, we have to look at it from different angle. There will always be cliques, you know, some people more friendly with others than not. You know, what we try to do at the board is that when we get complaints, and believe me, we do get them, we try to figure out, separate it out, whether is it a personal issue or it really is court related. If it's personal issue, we try to go back to the people involved and say that, you know, this is a personal issue. We're all adults. You need to try to work this out, because like I said, we're not going to be big brother. We're not going to try to take side over personal feuds, okay? On the other hand, in terms of social media, again, there are people that like to put things down on social media, and there's nothing much we can do. It's a First Amendment right. You know, we need to respect their right to be able to express their opinion. It's not something that we truly enjoy. What we can only hope is, you know, if it goes out of hand, we will discreetly contact them and says, hey, you know, this might be getting a little out of hand. Can we tone it down? In fact, I've seen our members actually tell other members, stop it, you know, move on and things like that. I think at the end of the day, it boils down to what I said in my letter again, which Mark had alluded to as well. We need to inspire people to respect each other. Believe me, I've had my share of dealing with hate directed at me and stuff like that. And the good thing is I have a good support system. I bite my tongue because I'm president. I try not to engage as much as I can. And I have a support system that, can you talk? I just really need to vent. I vent it out and I try to get over it personally. That's how I deal with it, you know? And hopefully we'd like to inspire people that and remind them we're all volunteers. We are all adults. Let us try to project it that way, whether you're a court member or not, in our personal lives. Hopefully through our own action that we can, you know, inspire people to you know, rise up and not follow. I'm getting a white card, so thank you.
Thank you very much, Coco. Our next question is again for both members, and this time we will start with Coco. How have your personal experiences from a major personal challenge, like a health crisis or the loss of a loved one, helped you in developing strength and resilience that you could use in being president?
You know, there has as you grow older, you go to a different stage of life and you have different crises in your life that hopefully we grow out of. And certainly, you know, there has been many. As you know, I've been part of many boards, not only locally, but nationally as well, with the center, with GLAD, with the ICC. So certainly there has been many challenges. What I have learned as I grow older, and believe me, every day I feel, I do feel it, is that a lot of things are not worth the time. You know, I I try not to, and it's hard. It's hard because we all have personal feelings. We're capable of feeling hurt. What I try to do is not let small things bother me and look at the large picture. So I might call a friend and like I said, vent, get it over with, and look at the bigger picture. Is it worth my time? Is it worth uh, uh, stewing over small things? So as I grow up, like I said, I tend to be a little more mellow. I tend to forgive little things and not take it to heart. But believe me, there are many times that I just want to slap someone silly, but I try not to, and I just bite my tongue and know that at the end of the day, it doesn't change my life. It doesn't enrich me. And at this point in my life, there's many more things that are more important.
Mark, same question, please.
Could you repeat the question, please?
Absolutely. How have your personal experiences from a major personal challenge like a health crisis or the loss of a loved one helped you in developing strength and resilience that you could use in being president?
Well, that's one of the reasons why I joined this organization. My very, very good friend and close friend growing up, Sal, we did everything together, went to clubs, you name it, we were the best friends. And then one day he just picked a fight with me and I didn't know why. And he just disregarded me as a friend and just moved on. I tried reaching out. And then one day I was walking, met his mother, and I said, how's Sal? I haven't seen him. She goes, Mark, I'm sorry to tell you, but Sal passed away. I says, what? She says, yeah, he had AIDS. He was so embarrassed to tell me, his best friend, that we shared everything, that he had AIDS and was dying. And that, I can't, it still hurts me today. And I was determined to then that nobody I ever know or any other person will die alone and be afraid to tell them that they have AIDS. And they was full speed ahead on helping people that had HIV/AIDS. We raised tons and tons of money then. And it helped me be a better person, knowing that I'm doing something good. And myself, my own personal health, learning of something that you have a time limit, or you might have a time limit, your whole perspective of life changes. You don't want to deal with little problems anymore. You know, I go outside, they take the dirt, and they smell the dirt. Says, this is beautiful. This is great. What other people will take it, it's just grass. When I open the window in the morning and I smell the beautiful air, oh my God, this is great. Life is good. That's why we all have to put us differences aside. That's meaningless. Life is life, and you only get one, and you have to do only good as you live your life. That's all I could say, and it's made me a better person. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mark. And our next question is again to Mark. Mark, if elected, how would you handle the open position that is left for vice president?
Well, I think according to our bylaws, I don't know if I'm correct in that, but Veronica, I think we have 45 days to do a re-election.
Well, we would do the 30 days notice.
Right.
Then you'd have campaigning and then the election again.
Right. That's how we go about getting an officer to replace an officer's position on the board. So we would have to see which candidates we have to at least give a week's notice to the candidates that would like to fill the position. And then from them, they have to send us a bio. The board would have to look at it. Then we'll send it to the membership. And then we have a committee that will have to see if they are good enough to hold that position. That's
Thank you
how our
very much.
bylaws work.
Can I just add something to that?
Absolutely.
So it is prescribed by the bylaws on what we have to do. And just for the record, I have no intention of running for vice president. So it will be someone else's chance to do so. But the other thing also, to just a little clarification from what Mark said, is that we don't determine whether someone is good or bad to be vice president, as long as they meet the minimum requirement of how many years been a member in good standing. Those are the most basic requirement. It is always up to the members to make that final selection based on qualification.
All right, thank you very much, Coco. And our next question is, again, for both candidates, and this time we will start with Coco. Community engagement and exposure beyond the boundaries of the court system is very important for our efforts to raise funds for our beneficiaries. Do you have ideas or plans to create exposure for the ICNY beyond our immediate circle? Coco?
Are you just talking about organizations or just exposure in general? Well, I'll just answer both. You know,
if the person, one moment, Coco, if the person who posed that question would like to clarify, I'd be happy to address that. Or
I can just answer it two ways. So, you know, and hit two parts.
Excuse me, Coco, in general.
Okay, in general. So, you know, we have been around for 30 some years, and we pretty much have worked with a majority of all the organizations in the tri-state area, which is, you know, in the beginning, we were very limited to organizations that have an office in Manhattan. That's no longer the case. We have reached out to New Jersey. We have reached out to Long Island. And so those are all good things. We have reached out to large organizations. We also reach out to smaller ones. You know, like when Michael, I don't know if it was Michael who started this, I'm not sure. You know, Trinity Shelter is a small shelter. But you know what? Our money goes a very long way with organizations of that size. So we target both. There should be a good balance. Hopefully the large organization provides us with extra exposure because of their wide reach. The small organization benefit from us because our dollar goes a longer way. The other thing that, you know, I wanted to share that I was very proud of that we did in the last 2 years stems from my feeling that we need to leave a legacy of who we are. It's well and nice that people know us as the Knight of 1,000 Gowns. That's fine. Another year, it's another Knight of 1,000 Gowns. Or we have our bar shields. That's all well and fine. But I wanted people to remember us much more than that. And I did that. This is over 20 some years ago. So for a lot of you, you know, you may not know this. In fact, no, I will not venture to say you were not born because Michael is what, 32 or 31? Anyway, what happened about 25 years ago, one of our ball was the beneficiary for the center in New York. So for those of you who do not know, next time you're at the center, look at the plaque just inside the main door. We are one of the major sponsors of that door. We paid for it, a little piece of that, and our name is there. So for the past 25 years, and hopefully for the next 30 years, you know, you will see our name there, which is the same way at the Stonewall Inn. Our name appears inside the Stonewall Inn with the Wall of Honor. And also in memorial, our name will appear, our name being the court, appears on the new documentary about Mama Jose, Nelly Queen, the credit as one of the sponsors. So aside from the things that we do, those historical things are important to me, that after we're gone, hopefully people will remember us.
Thank you very much, Coco. Mark, same question, please. Do you need me to reread it?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Community engagement and exposure beyond the boundaries of the court system are very important for our efforts to raise funds for our beneficiaries. Do you have ideas or plans to create exposure for the ICNY beyond our immediate circle?
Well, that's how we're going to survive in the new norm. We have to expose ourselves further than we are. We have to be more out there on social media. We have to be getting more involved with corporate sponsorship. we have to start doing more things online and social media in order for us to survive. We just can't think in the box anymore. We have to think outside the box, and it's a new norm for all of us. So not all of us are learning as we move along. That's how it is. We just take one day at a time and see the best that we can. But we have to be more out there on social media right now, be visually all over the place. That's all I could say.
Glenn, can I add something that I wanted to touch on the members in the
Again?
Yeah, well,
Of course, Coco. Thank you.
The task doesn't fall on the president alone. The task doesn't fall on the board alone. We rely on our membership to help us do that. You know, one of the great outreach that we did a year ago came through Empress Pepper. She connected us with Bunny again for Wigstock. We got invited to that. As a result of that, we got filmed and it was shown. You know, I know that Sugar and is working with Narcisio, I don't remember his first name, to be a COVID warrior, to help give out masks in Fire Island. And I reach out to GMHC to see if we can do that. So ideas come from members as well. So we encourage members to share that with us.
Thank you very much. And here's a related question. Many members feel that Night of a Thousand Gowns needs to be rethought and reinvented. To both candidates, what is your vision for a reinvented and reformatted Night of a Thousand Gowns, given realities of the times? Mark?
Well, it definitely has to change. We can no longer afford the prices that are out there. And now with the pandemic going on, we have a step down we have to do. We have another step up, then another step down, and then another step up. So it's going to be very, very, very interesting on how we do this, if elected or as a board, how we're going to move forward with Night of a Thousand. It will be definitely different, smaller venue, and a lot more fun.
Thank you very much. Coco, same question?
Yeah, we need to decide or revisit who are our guests. Okay, the time many years ago when we had 800 people or 1,000 people, our guest is a different crowd. Now with our reduced number, we need to decide who our market is. And I'll tell you a funny story that happened in Seattle many years ago. In their quest to reduce the time, they decided to do away with protocol and only introduce the reigning monarchs. That created a riot. The next year, they brought it back. So those are things that we need to decide how important certain parts is to our audience, to our guests. For example, I was thinking, and I got this idea from Vancouver 2 years ago. Vancouver 2 years ago did away with their brunch because it has become expensive. We're paying $40 to have eggs and bacon, okay? And what Vancouver did was they did away with brunch, and what they had was at 2 o'clock, they met at a bar, you know, and they gave out awards. It's very social. It was a free event, and it didn't cost $40 to have eggs and bacon. So we can learn a lot from other courts about what it is, but at the end of the day, we have to figure out who our attendees are, what they are looking for, and hope that we're able to entertain them. Certain things will probably always be there because it's our tradition, but we can certainly experiment. Unless we try, we will never know.
Thank you very much, Coco. Our next question, and again, this is for both. Coco, we'll stay with you since we're here. Your campaign posts state all of the things that you want to do if you were elected president, but for the past year, you have been the board president, or in the case of Mark, vice president. Why weren't these same items priorities for you then, instead of things that you would like to do if elected president now?
Did you want me to start?
Yes, that would be fine.
Well, that is exactly my point of my letter. my letter was different in the sense that I talk about my performance and my track records, because exactly that. I was president for the last 2 years. You know, I'm not going to suggest things that, you know, we tried out things that I thought would be good. And we certainly did try out new things. We are forced to try new things like the Zoom, socials. We now have a YouTube channel. We did research on what paying system affords us the best reporting system. So that's why my letter is what it said. I am running based on my track records, based on my experience. And plus, in my letter also, I did offer some suggestions in certain areas of how we move forward, like the task force and stuff like that.
Thank you very much, Coco. Mark, same question, please.
Repeat it again, please.
Thank you very much. The question is, your campaign posts state all of the things that you want to do if you were elected president, but for the past year, you have been the board president or vice president. Why weren't these same items priorities for you then of things that you would like to do if elected president?
Well, during the time of me being vice president and Coco being vice president, we were given a lot of new tasks with the virus. We were every day saying, what do we do now? What are we going to do now? But the things that I put as I want to do if elected president, I will continue to carry out. It's just that things change and we have to change with the times. We both would have loved to have done what we wanted to accomplish, but due to the new pandemic, it was very hard for either one of us to move forward. And our main concern was trying and sitting in pins and needles with the 900,000 gallons. Are we getting a refund? Are we getting a refund? It was every board meeting, so we had to stop doing the board meetings. So in all fairness, we both wanted to accomplish what we had to do, but due to the COVID-19 virus, we couldn't really continue on the way we really wanted to continue. But if elected president, I promise we will together work as a team. Thank you.
Thank you very much. One moment, please, while we take a network break. I'll be back with you in a moment.
While we're on break, can I just say happy Rosh Hashanah? And I may mispronounce this, so help me out. Shana Tova to all of our Jewish family and friends. Did I do that okay, Revi? It's
happy holidays.
It's Rosh Hashanah.
You did it perfect, Coco. That's where I had to go. I had to run, take my honey cake out of the oven.
Okay.
We are just clarifying an issue. It is 9 o'clock, but we are clarifying an issue. Members, please bear with us. One moment, please. All right, we do have 5 questions that came in prior to 9 o'clock. They are each from members who already asked a question, but because they came in before, we are going to ask the questions. This question is for both candidates. We will start with Mark. You noted in your Facebook post that we need to be a team to bring Night of 1,000 Gowns back as either a virtual event or a live event, quote unquote. How do you plan to engage more of our membership to be active? It is indisputable that many of our members don't participate in planning and are hosting events, which is a shame. I would love to see full participation in this event. How will you go about encouraging them to get more involved? This is a question for both candidates. Mark, you first.
Well, a lot of our members can't afford the Night of 1,000 Gallons, quite honestly. Even though we do have a sponsorship or a sponsorship for them to request, but it's very expensive. But hopefully, going forward with our new venue for Night of 1,000 Gallons, they will be able to afford the new ticket price. How we can get our members more involved is if they can't afford the venue, they can volunteer for that Night of 1,000 Gallons regardless. They could become a volunteer and just be part of the event. Night of the Gallons Down is the most exciting event we have for the full year, and everybody loves to get involved, but a lot of our members just really can't afford. So we have to make it more affordable. We have to also let them know that if they can't afford it, they can volunteer for that event to help us, which would be greatly appreciated. But the fact is, we now have a hard time getting volunteers for our events. Thank you.
Thank you. Coco, same question.
Yeah, I have a twofold answer to this. Just because sometimes we get low attendance at our events, like I said, you know, our bar events get somewhere around 35 people on average, and that includes the entertainers. But it doesn't mean that it wasn't successful, and it doesn't mean that the members are not interested. In my letter that I sent out, we just need to recognize that different people participate at different levels. Some are happy to just come to the mall once a year. Some are happy to just give money. Some love attending our events. Some will produce. Not everybody is the same. We should just respect that we all contribute in a different way. But the other thing that we could do, like I also said before, is that survey. You know, we can find out, other than from the membership form, what interests them. You know, what kind of shows do they want to see? What kind of events do they want to do? A lot of times what we do are bar events. In the past, what we have done is not every event has to be a fundraiser. We should have things that are simply social, like our investiture is just simply social, that we don't have to try to raise money. As long as we just break even, that's good for me. So we should try to think about things that we do that are just simply socials, and not try to raise money, you know, and do something that, let's just have dinner together, let's have brunch together, whatever it might be. Let's go bowling.
Thank you very much, Coco. Our next question is again for both candidates. Mark, we'll start with you. What does each candidate think differentiates themselves from the other in regards to being president that benefits the Imperial Court of New York? Mark?
Oh, that's hard. Well, I believe I'm more of a positive person than anybody that I know. I know I don't see things in a box. I go beyond the box. I don't have blinders on. I'm a very appreciative. I'm very appreciative to all our members for all the hard work, and I acknowledge each and every one of them. We both have, you know, me and Coco, when we're in the boardroom, it's one thing. We might fight, scream, and tear each other apart, but when we're outside, we talk and we're friends, because business is business and friends are friends, and that we both do agree on. But I'm not going to sit here and badmouth Coco, because I love Coco. She's a hard worker. She's the founder of this organization. She put her time in, and now it's time for her to retire and elect me. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. That's it. I really can't say anything bad.
You know,
Thank you, Coco.
I totally respect Mark for the many years that he's, you know, he's a volunteer and an officer of the court, and we bring different things to the table. I will let Mark talk for himself on what he brings to the table. What I bring is experience. You know, I've been members of the board of many different type of organization. I also know that, you know, I'm always open to suggestions. I'm not afraid to try new things, because like I said, if we don't try it, we will never know if it works for us or not. And if it fails, we learn from it. It's okay. So, you know, I'm open-minded. You know, if you come up with an idea, I will try to help you with the events and stuff like that. That's why we've never done many virtual events before. The 5K challenge that our 3 producers did, you know, we were thinking about $5 per person. Right now, we are close to $3,000. It's not something, it's not a show. It's not a show, like what we always do. So if you have a great idea, we can always develop them and take it to the next level. So I go back again. The ideas do not only come from the president or the board. It comes from the members. And hopefully with producers that are with us today, that I've shown that I will support you to the best that I can, and to make it work. And if it doesn't work, just like the project Dog on the Runway, it's very slow getting started, but we're going to give it a shot, and we will learn from whether it'll work next time or not. So, always try new things.
Thank you, Coco. And our next question comes from Mr. Richard Fetter of Fort Lee, New Jersey. I'm kidding. Just want to make sure everybody was still awake with me, who is old enough to remember Rosanna Dana. To both candidates, if neither of you get the majority vote to win the election, would either of you concede to the one with the higher vote? Coco?
I hope by this weekend, we don't have to answer that question. Either one of us will be fine. We just bring different things to the table. I will cross that bridge when I get there, but most likely, yes.
Thank you. Mark, same question, please.
Yeah, I agree with Coco. We'll discuss it at that time. It's really something we'll have to discuss, but hopefully by the end of this, either one of us will be the new president. We could change the minds of the 3 people that didn't vote.
All right, thank you very much. And our final question for this town hall tonight, to both candidates. If elected, how will you create a safe space for members to ask questions without being put down, ganged up on, or called quote unquote negative by other members, especially board members? Mark, we'll hand that off to you first.
Say that again, please. I'm disturbed by the question. That's why.
Thank you. If elected, how will you create a safe space for members to ask questions without being put down, ganged up on, or called quote unquote negative by other members, especially board members?
Every member deserves a voice, and it's sometimes how it comes across, how the person is presenting it to the board or to the membership on what they believe is the correct way to do it. I feel that if the person is being bullied and who is being bullied by, the people that bully have to be reprimanded. And there's some members that really shouldn't be members of our organization because they're pot stirrers. They like to stir the pot and then they leave. And this is going on many years. But as president, I will personally bring these people to the board and have them speak to the board what is wrong and what can we do to rectify this issue and make it a positive and leave it on a positive note. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Coco, same question, please.
Like I said, if this is happening on social media, there isn't much you can do. You have to respect what people say, and respect goes 2 ways. It's not a one-way street. There are certainly many ways of saying things. It's just a matter of doing it respectfully. I have been the target of many shades online, and it is what it is. All I want to do is remind people that we, at the end of the day, are all volunteers. None of us are being paid, including your board of directors. Respect has to come both ways. If you want respect, you've got to give it as well. So no blame on either side, just that respect has to come both ways.
Thank you very much, Coco. And there was a final question, but it leads into what will be, I'm sure, your closing statements. The qualities that you each will bring to the table that will set you apart and make you a qualified president of the Imperial Court of New York. Again, as we started, we'll go in alphabetical order. So Coco, if you would like to start with your closing statement, please.
One of the important things to do is that no matter how important this position is, and it might seem like it's the highest position on the board of directors. It is not a one-person job. It truly takes a village. In my letter, I mentioned to you that in the past 2 years, I have not voted even once, not once, because at the end of the day, we come to the table, we discuss things, and the board takes a vote. There are many times that I've offered some suggestions that were never, that the board didn't go along with. It's okay. I will vigorously try to bring my case. If it doesn't even come to become emotion, I'm good with it, but keeping in mind that everyone is in this together. I'm not perfect. I do not have answers to everything, but faced with a situation, I definitely will do my best to get you the answers, get answers to the question. We may not always agree, but I don't see that as a negative. It simply means that there's a different point of view. It doesn't mean I'm right and you're wrong. It doesn't mean that you're right and I'm wrong. Sometimes it's just a difference of opinion. I don't profess to know everything. What I know, what I do is I'm not afraid to ask questions. I'm not afraid to ask for help. Like this afternoon, my Facebook decided to freeze on me and I was trying to post my letter. I didn't know how to turn off my new iPhone because there was no button at the bottom of that screen that I was used to. The point is, if I don't know something, I'm not afraid to ask. And we learn from our mistakes. We learn from our decision. And hopefully, it all turns out good. But the one thing that you need to know is at the end of the day, my heart is in the right place. Our goals are really the same. Sometimes we achieve it differently, but at the end of the day, we share the same goals.
Thank you very much, Coco. Mark, you're
The
up.
question again, please.
Your closing comments to include the specific qualities that you will bring to the office of president of the board of directors of the Imperial Court of New York.
Okay. Well, one thing I would like to do if elected president is have our membership meetings more of an open forum. And what I mean by that is us discussing what's going on, not only within our organization, but what's going on outside. I think we should have more guests come in and educate us on diversity of other people that we're not well versed on. So like, for instance, I'm not well versed on transgender people. I like to know how they feel about us, and are they comfortable within our organization, as well as people of color. I don't know if our people of color are very comfortable in our organization. They think that we're racist, we're white privileged. I have no idea. But we need to bring people in that we can discuss with not only our own membership, but people from outside to teach us to be more diverse and to understand what it's like to be them and not us. That's one. Secondly, I'm a very impartial person. I always base my decisions on facts and not my emotions. I'm very stable and I'm fair but firm. And as I say, you have two great candidates running for president, Coco and myself. Whoever you elect, you will not be disappointed. Believe me, you will not be disappointed. So like Coco said, both our hearts are in the right place. And being the president, can not always be perfect, and we'll always be picked on whether we do something right or something wrong. But as president, we have to learn to suck it up and be quiet, because sometimes it's just better not to say nothing than nothing at all. I want to thank you all for participating in our in-town meeting. I hope I've answered all your questions to your satisfaction. Should you have any questions that you'd like to be answered further, you can either contact me by phone, email, and that's it. Thank God. God bless.
And I want to thank Mark very much for taking my lines from the script. He'll be hearing from my union rep.
And also thank you, Veronica and Bonbon, for putting this all together. And Tony, I know you were supposed to be there, but you had to do something otherwise.
Especially Bonbon picking up the job for moderating and leading this whole thing. Thank you very much, Bonbon.
Well, you're very welcome. It was indeed my honor. I'm normally a very shy person, so this helped me to break out of my shell a little bit. And I suppose that's all from the newsroom of the Imperial Court of New York. This has been my honor. Thank you all very, very much. And we will post this in response to a member who brought it to my attention. Thank you very much. I will work with Veronica to post this as quickly as possible. Thank you all. Have a good night and be well.